Well, good evening and welcome to Ollie Campbell Park. We're here on what has turned out to be a quite wet and blustery evening in Dublin 4. Old Belvedere today. Well, they welcome Suttonians to Ollie Campbell Park. I can tell you here and now that the pictures you're seeing are far brighter than the actual reality, but we're all set. Old Belvedere will be playing from left to right for this first half as our referee heads out to the middle. You can see there just how dark it is on how bright the floodlights are. Now we return to the action. We'll very shortly be underway with this AIL round 12 game. Other games also happening today. Top of the table Railway, they're at Wicklow. Second place, UL Bowes, they're at Tullow. Black Rock in third are at Galwegians. And fourth place, Old Belvedere hosting Suttonians, who are seventh. The first kickoff bounces in front of the Belvedere players. It's a bit scrappy, but the ruck forms, protecting the ball. And just outside the 22, Belvedere with the first couple of drives, just to get the hands on the ball. Perhaps warm up a little bit. The temperature has dropped dramatically from the game earlier. Men's first team with an emphatic victory, 71-14 against Queen's University Belfast, who will have a long journey back up the M1. Kick down the field from Belvedere. That's Quiva Hoy who's picked it up and is driving back into the Belvedere half before her progress is halted. And then a knock-on straight away. The referee onto that. Immediate knock-on the other way as well. So play no advantage. Play comes to a halt, and we will see the first scrum right on the halfway line in this, the second minute. Suttonians having quite a good league campaign. They've won 3 so far this season, drawn 1. However, they're on a 5-game losing streak. Belvedere, on the other hand, well, they had a tough start to the season. They lost their first 3 games. A lot of people absent on those occasions for representative sides. And they've notched up 7 wins on the trot before a defeat last time out against Galwegians down the west. Belvedere will be very keen to return to winning ways and cementing their place in that top 4. Lovely pick-off and drive off the back of the scrum. Cara Mulcahy doing the work there. Her pack backing her up. Ball laid back nicely. The attempted kick through, well, didn't work as it wanted to. And then it was knocked on as it ricocheted back. And it will be a scrum down to Suttonians just inside their own 10-metre line. Yes, it was a beautiful morning this morning. Not a cloud in the sky. And then by about midday, we saw a few clouds, but it was still a lovely day. But now at 5 o'clock, well, it seems like the worst of the rain has passed over, but it has left the ground perhaps a little slippy on top, and we may see a few handling errors during this game. Scrum half was listed as Esme Leviette, wearing number 22 for Suttonians. We'll assume that's super drive from Belvo first off, but the referee's going to reset that one. He's bringing them in a bit. Again, you can see that the rain has caused the ground to be liable to cutting up. And 2 packs driving at each other like that, well, the referee does the sensible thing and brings the scrum just a couple of metres further in line. You can see the 15-yard line just behind the referee there. As Captain Leslie Ring packs down on the open side. Ball goes in again, and again, that Belvedere scrum moving forward. Centre driving up, keeping possession. And Suttonians go again. Belvedere line up very quickly in defence, holding her up there. And again, Mulcahy in the middle of things. And it forces the Suttonian scrum half to kick. And that ball is beautifully taken and run back Megan Edwards, top try scorer for Belvedere this year, averaging over a try a game for the Black and Whites. Now Belvedere shipping the ball across the back line, testing the Suttonians' defence. Nice and early, driving through, making yards on the front foot. Gaffney it is, who goes around the edge, testing the fringe defences, but on this occasion, caught holding the ball. It'll be a penalty to Suttonians and a chance for them to clear their half. Good few of the crowd from the men's game have stuck around and be watching this in the bar at the moment, or maybe even braving the weather outside. Not the warmest. The breeze, as you can see from the touch charges flag, right to left in favour of Suttonians in this first half. Suttonians' kick may not made a lot of ground, but it did the important thing, and that was to find touch, and Suttonians have the line out. Referee just setting the line perfectly. And the throw is long, and it comes down on the Belvedere side. It's very scrappy, and Suttonians, in fact, have driven over it and recovered the ball. The referee decides that there was a knock-on, and it will be a Belvedere put in. As I said, the conditions are not conducive, really, to handling rugby. The rain has played its part, and there is a very greasy surface, and I suspect also a very greasy ball to hang on to. So, another scrum. Belvedere having already established a bit of superiority in the tight eight. They'll be looking to do so again here now. Quick ball out of the back, steady scrum for Belvedere. It's Emma Kelly who drives up into the Suttonians' defence. Ball comes back. And the referee decides that there had been a knock on there. Yeah, as I say, another scrum, another handling error. It's a tough day. It's almost a tuck it up the jumper and just push your way towards the opponent's line. Free-flowing rugby, not really on the menu at the moment. The final game fixture today, of course, Cook and Ballincollig. Cook in 9th and Ballincollig in 8th. That should be a tight competitive game there up north in Cook. Meanwhile, here at Ollie Campbell Park, Suttonians get the ball and spin it out wide, and almost all the way to the winger. Fullback does well to hang on to what was a loose pass. They retain possession, drive again into the heart of the Belvedere defence, which is resolute so far. It's a lovely run across the line. And yes, the referee deciding that the Belvedere player was there over the ball. And that, absolutely super result for Belvedere. Penalty now. Steam comes out behind the crane in the RDS. In the background, kick fails to reach touch, and that's what I meant about the Suttonians' kick. It may not have made much distance, but it did make touch, and that was vitally important. On this occasion, Belvedere really have just given the ball back to Suttonians and enabled them to clear their lines. Megan Edwards and Emma Tilley together, combining at the back. And then the ball across the line. And that ball just forced into touch. You can see the intent is there to spin the ball across and stretch the defence, even in these conditions. Belvedere coming away with the throw there. Right in front of the Belvedere bench, where you can see every single person wrapped up nicely in their big heavy coats. I have to admit, I've done the same. It is still, after all, January, 25th of today. I'll be looking forward to the 43rd of January when this month will finally come to an end. And that super play from Ring, just using her inside arm to bring the ball back, and the referee saying that was a high tackle and very quickly was onto it and now has called them back. And it will be a scrum down to Suttonians for not taking the mark. Players just going across to ask the referee, and it was, in fact, not taking the penalty from the mark, and that has resulted in a Suttonian scrum. The referee warning the Suttonians front row about going down and telling the Belvedere front row to keep it up. Clear instructions from the referee. Gets the scrum set. The ball goes in, and Belvedere with a massive push. And all that Suttonians could do was get the ball out, and it got thrown carelessly towards the out half. And that now means that Belvedere, scavenging, fighting for every ball, have come through and caused Suttonians to fall foul of the referee. And immediately Captain Leslie King says, sorry, Leslie Ring says, we'll take the scrum. They're enjoying the dominance up front and hoping to tie in a few of those defenders. Gaffney prepares to put in. Ring again has come to the open side. Really enjoying her captaincy at the club this year is Leslie Ring. And it's been a tough year for Belvedere. 4 defeats, as I say, but 7 wins in this league campaign so far. They're looking to make that 8. Nice play. Driving up again. Just the one pass and drive, and it could be the same again. Tying in defenders again and again. Ball not as quick as Belvedere would like. Ring doing a super job, realising that she wasn't held. Went again. And driven into the 22 with just this, what I would call almost 10-man rugby. One pass and drive at the moment. Letting the forwards do a lot of the work. And then when they try to be a little more expansive, the ball goes to ground. However, the referee pointing at a lot of Suttonians players, which suggests perhaps this will be the award of a penalty for offside. One would expect Anya Donnelly will put this one into the corner. But in fact, Captain Ring has again called for another scrum. And whilst Belvedere do have the dominance in the scrum, it makes sense for them to, as I say, just tie up a few of those Suttonians defenders. Referee clear, concise with his instructions. And again, you can see that Belvedere scrum solid as the ball comes out. Donnelly across the back line. Kelly it is, takes it up first. Gets the ball back. And the forwards, having made their way from the scrum, are on hand. But Suttonians have stolen it. Kick up the field. There's nobody back there defending at the moment. The Belvedere player has got to make certain of this. And the referee has said that Suttonians have forced Belvedere to knock that one on. And that's a great relief of pressure for Suttonians. And this is proving to be an exceptionally competitive game. There's a player down just above the Windsor on your screen there. Just needs some attention. Bash to the ribs, and the referee will call time off and allow that time for the medical attention to take place. Both packs, you can see, just reviewing the past 14 minutes, seeing how they want to improve things, what they want to change, what they're doing well. And at the moment, you have to say, for Belvedere, the one pass and drive into the defence seems to be working quite well for them. Whereas in the men's game earlier, we saw what worked well for Belvedere in that game was to spin the ball to the wings and outflank Queen's University Belfast, and they did that on a number of occasions. Also had the benefit of a couple of, shall we say, fortunate interventions. Time back on. You'll see that our clock on the screen has kept going through that time off, so you'll have to remember that play will go on past the 40th minute. Another scrum to Suttonians, back inside the Belvedere half. 14 minutes of very even play so far. The only difference being that the Belvedere scrum has been very effective at forcing Suttonians backwards. On this occasion, Gaffney showing too much of the inside to her opposite scrum half, who went through the gap. Suttonians coming over to the open side. Belvedere flooding through. The pass out the back door really wasn't the way to go for Suttonians on that occasion. The scrum half does a fine job of hoofing this ball down, and it's going to reach the touchline, and that is a fabulous kick. The referee and touch judge together deciding that that is a 50-22. Suttonians will have the put into the line out inside the Belvedere 22. First time they've had a chance to attack, to really threaten the Belvedere line. In fact, to threaten the scoreboard. No score as yet, 16 minutes gone. The referee carrying on with his explanations. Waller McDonald looking to put this one into the line out. Ring goes up early, but not able to intercept on this occasion. The pass from the scrum half is very wide. The ball is loose on the ground. And it's just about going to come out on the Suttonian side. And again, they seem to have also learnt that the free-flowing passing gets the ball out to the wing. Goes to ground, and again, they've made yards. Oh, that's a crunching tackle in the middle of the park. Superb tackle. Player well and truly put down. And the referee allowing that play to go on. Turning out of the tackle, couldn't get the ball away. And the referee deciding that that's a high tackle. And Suttonians take it very quickly, hoping to catch Belvedere at 6s and 7s. And that's a superb bit of play by the forwards of Belvedere, forcing the Suttonians player to hang on to the ball and gaining the penalty. Well, when they were in the opposition 22, they had a penalty, they took the scrum, but one feels that inside their own 22, it will be discretion the better part of valour, and looking to put the kick to touch. It's a high kick. Will it make the touchline? Not quite. Suttonians player takes the ball, takes on the tackler, and makes it available to her teammates. One fired along the back line, and again, the tacklers there quickly. It's good defence from Belvedere. Another player put to ground. And then on this occasion, the referee has decided that the Belvedere players not getting away from the ball, not rolling away, not letting go. And Suttonians deciding that, well, they've finally got an opportunity to put points on the board, and they will take it. Kicking tee comes out. It looks like leading point scorer, in fact, leading try scorer for Suttonians, Lauren Farrell McCabe, will take a kick from possibly nearly 40 metres out, pretty much in straight in front of the posts. He was onto a captain straight away, suggesting that kick for goal would be the way to go. Kick is up. And the kick is good. 3-0 then to Suttonians. They take the lead, perhaps somewhat against the run of play, but both sides really trying to establish themselves. And 3-0 start, and Suttonians on the board first. Welcome to all of you who are with us today. Sure. Oh, a knock on from the kickoff. Belvedere will gratefully accept that. That's an unforced error. Nobody challenging her for the catch, but on this occasion, perhaps took her eyes off, looking to see what was in front of her. The ball went to ground. It gives Belvedere an excellent position to attack from. I suspect one of our viewers, Kathy Murphy, perhaps watching in the States. If she is, good afternoon. Good morning to you, Kathy. Ball held beautifully at the back of the scrum, and now the power coming on. They're pushing it forward, moving it across the line, taking in defenders, looking to go wider. Captain Ring driving into the 22, going to the blind side again. Donnelly ships it on. Tackle was high. You can see the rain coming down there now, and you can see just how much of a difference it's made to this game with regards to the handling and the amount of scrums we're seeing in this first quarter. Belvedere getting the put into another scrum. You can certainly say that the front 8 of both sides are certainly going to have earned their drink after the game today. I suspect it will be more coffee than anything else. Rain really coming down there now. Pulled into the scrum. Again, this very tidy, very effective Old Belvedere scrum, producing superb ball. Slipped pass into the centre, makes more yards. Donnelly again, going wide. And now Edwards in at the corner. She'll be looking to get as close as she can to the post. But there's a first try for Belvedere. They take the lead, 5-0. And it was simplicity itself. Here we are now with the replay. See the ball displayed away, shipped across the line. And once they showed the outside to Edwards, well, there was only going to be one result there. She gets in a bit closer to the posts. And that is a nice try for Belvedere. And one that they probably deserve through the strength of their forwards thus far. Kick from the right side of the pitch. Just slides to the right of the posts on this occasion. 5-3 to Belvedere with 24 minutes on our clock. As I say, the clock not being stopped by us when the referee calls time off, so probably only 23 minutes gone. Looks like a lovely evening to play rugby on your screen, I can tell you. Rain and the wind coming down, and it's not the most pleasant. In fact, probably the coldest person on the ground operating our cameras. No shelter, no cover. So 5-3 as we enter the second quarter. Ball's allowed to bounce, but then collected. Driven back at the Suttonians. 2 players trying to bring her down. And then the kick. Cleanly taken with space. However, 2 tacklers. Well, there seemed to be a little bit of jumping around, wondering what was going to happen until the Belvedere player came in and absolutely levelled the player. Over the ball again. On this occasion, driven off it. A kick from the scrum half, not finding the distance that perhaps would have been wanted. And the kick in return has found open ground and rolls into touch just past the 10-metre line. And that's very sensible play from Donnelly. Saw the gap, saw how scrappy things were, and decided just to tidy it up and push the Suttonians back into their own half again. These 2 sides met twice in 2024, back in March. Well, Belvedere were 39-12 winners in Suttonians. And then in November just past, Belvedere 41-18 winners in Suttonians. First time we've seen Suttonians here in Ollie Campbell Park this year, or in the past couple of years. It's the kick downfield. Gets Suttonians some territory. Finally, the cover comes up, forcing the Belvedere side to reorganise and driving again into the forwards. Ball comes back slowly. Driving again and still driving and makes the pass out of the tackle. But a super tackle, I suspect by Clara Sexton, was through on that. And now kicked through, and it will just run into touch and beat both players who were chasing it down. The Suttonians find themselves with the line out, but again, they've lost ground. They're back into their own 22 again, and the Belvedere pressure just slowly being exerted. Each one a turn at the screw. As Kira Spencer makes her way back, limping a bit. The number 1 for Suttonians comes into the line out. Good take. Ring again went up at the front rather than at the middle. Hoping to cash in on any errant throws. It did mean that Suttonians' jumper really could take that ball uncontested. And it does give Suttonians a chance to clear their lines, and they do so. Put the ball outside the 22, but Belvedere have what they want, and that will be possession. The weather today being a great leveller. Both sides having to deal with what is in effect wet, greasy ball. Referee marking the midpoint for the 2 props at the front of the line out. And that's a lovely take from Ring. Time to jump to perfection, enabled her to jump higher. However, a knock-on in the midfield gives Suttonians the ball and a chance to attack again. Shipped on, the ball goes loose backwards, and it's kicked through, but you could hear the referee's whistle. That could have proved to be very expensive for Suttonians. The referee deciding no advantage from an original knock-on. Suttonians will have to put into the scrum. Wind has dropped now. Hardly any wind at all. The rain appears to have stopped. Conditions improving, at least for the spectators. Still tricky for the players. Enough moisture on the top of the pitch. The Suttonians put this one into the scrum, and Suttonians quite rightly get it out of the scrum as soon as possible. Laura Claridge putting the kick down, and it's chased by the Suttonians players, and they've done very well to scragger just outside of 22. Belvedere will do well to get this ball back. Back they do, and they try and drive around the fringes. There's no joy for them there, so they try again. This time maybe making a yard or two. And again, driving into the forwards. Gaps developing. Gaffney kicks. Well taken. Quiver Hoy doing a good job for Suttonians. Try and go down the blind side. Surely. Referee saying that the tackler wouldn't release. Gives Suttonians a chance to push the ball up the touchline and look for the line out as close or inside the 22 as possible. Kick coming somewhat off the side of the boot. Sees the touch judge coming back towards the 22 line. But a good position for Suttonians. Good platform for them to attack from. It's a night that will sap the hamstrings. Muscles get cold very quickly in this weather. Again, Ring looking to go up at the front of the lineup. A good throw from Suttonians is just spilled by the second row and it bounces round. Touch of the ping pong, and the referee deciding that the first knock-on was a Belvedere knock-on. And Suttonians will get the scrum. Exactly on the 22, 15 metres in from touch. An ideal platform, even with the fact that the Belvedere scrum has been the stronger of the two so far this half. Ball is put in quickly, and they've been driven off it by the Belvedere pack. A little chip kick through the gap, and it's dropped by the Suttonians player, and the Belvedere side flood through, dive on the ball, and another kick from Donnelly finds open turf, bounces 2 or 3 times before somebody finally picks it up and throws a few shapes to get back to the 10-metre line. Ball comes back on the Belvedere side. Captain Ring driving forward. Setting it up nicely. Slow ball. Forwards again. This proved successful in the first quarter. Now Donnelly with the little chip kick ahead, and it's caused all sorts of problems for the full-back. And Belvedere again retained possession from one of these kicks. Suttonians just letting them fall to floor and staying there for far too long, and it's giving Belvedere the chance to come through, regain the ball, and drive again. Defenders pulled in. Got to be an overlap on this outside now. Ball comes back inside, back towards the forwards. Ring again, driving on, tries to make the pass. The ball has been lost. Suttonians' defence has done a fabulous job again. And they kick down the field. It is taken. Switch in midfield. Driven back up towards the 22. Another drive from the forwards, making yards, getting over the advantage line. That's making such a difference for Belvedere at the moment. And now trying to go across the back line. Comes inside the tackler. And Ring again, doing her best to drive down. The ball comes out to the open side. Donnelly ships it across. Kelly driving into the Suttonians' defence. Now the forwards go again. Put to ground. Just 7 metres out. Another drive from the forwards. Suttonians being called across to the right-hand side of their defence. And that's where the ball goes. And now it comes through, and there's an easy try for Belvedere. Unmatched. Numbers weren't there for Suttonians, and Belvedere just ball through the hands until they found the gap. And as you see here, you see the players trying to flood round to that side and then being dragged back in so that when the ball came out, just one good pass and the gap was there to get through to the line. Belvedere to 10 points with the conversion to come. As we approach half-time now, Belvedere have finally sort of really making their pressure count. Suttonians have put up a good battle in this first half. The scrum has struggled, but it hasn't really been reflected on the scoreboard. They've done well. And, of course, the handling errors from both sides. Well, the rain being a great leveller. We wait for this conversion on the wrong side. Tough kick comes back off the post. However, the score now, Belvedere 10, Suttonians 3. Converted try ahead as we approach the half-time. Again, it's the power of the forwards that have really made the difference for Belvedere. And even though the tries scored by backs, it's the way the forwards have dragged the defence in, and indeed the cover defence in. Nice kick-off. Everyone has a chance to compete for that. It bounces through. Referee deciding that there was a knock-on by Suttonians. Belvedere have the advantage. Driving up again. Well, Captain Ring, you have to say, really does lead by example. There is a player down on the pitch. Medical attention is there. But play continues at the moment. The Suttonians, well, trying to keep the ball loose. Belvedere hunting them down one at a time. A nice little run, making a few yards. Gets them back up to the 10-yard line. Again, the forwards driving up until finally scrum half, well, very close to the injured player, but the referee let play continue. Donnelly saw what she thought was a gap, but in fact all she's done is given it back to Suttonians, and they are running back at the Belvedere defence. Again, good tackling and good work. The player forced to hold on the ground. It was the strength of the tackle, and the second player in, hands on the ball straight away. And now finally the referee having a word with the Suttonians player, and now going back to see what has happened with regards to the injury as we enter the last couple of minutes before half-time. Well, she went down there and hasn't moved since, and in fact we see Vic O'Mahony coming on. assume that this will be a substitution, and that'll be the end of the game. And chairlift to the sidelines. A round of applause for the injured player leaving the field. Hannah Wilson providing one half of that chairlift and returns to the fray. And although you see time is up on our clock, there will still be a couple of minutes to go. Referee turning to the offside call. Now all the medical attention has taken place. And Donnelly puts the ball into touch. Just on the 10-yard line, 10-metre line of Suttonians. Oh, with the change also in the thrower. Belvedere get across to midfield and driving through, and the tackle not effective. And Mulcahy it was who drove through so many yards, and it's freed up the backs. Good tackle by the Suttonians defence. Stops that attack in its... And Belvedere have to start again. Again, driving up from the maul. This has been effective for Belvedere. Forwards again, driving. This one goes to ground, and then a boot through from Suttonians has put it back into the Belvedere half. Oh, missed tackle has cost Suttonians not only possession, but 15 metres as well. That initial tackle not made, and suddenly Belvedere back into the other half. Referee on this occasion, though, rewarding the Suttonians players. Getting over that one, getting their hands on the ball. And Belvedere couldn't clear her out. And it results in a penalty to Suttonians. Laura Claridge is going to put the ball into touch, she hopes, with a bit of distance. And that she certainly does. In past the 10-metre line for Belvedere. They will have to defend this line out. Again, Ring taking up station at the front of the line out. Suttonians jumper at the tail. Good well-worked line out from Suttonians. And super play. Scrum half going through a gap that had been left there by Belvedere. Driving up again, another good tackle. Nicely laid back on the Suttonian side. They go wide. Pass goes out to the winger. And she is well and truly dumped, and the ball going loose. There for anybody to pick up, and it's Suttonians who are onto it first. And this time the referee deciding that the Belvedere players were forcing Suttonians driving maul to hang on to the ball once it had gone to ground. And again, Donnelly gets the chance to put the ball down into the Suttonians half. Well, close to it anyway. Belvedere will have the put in just on the halfway line with the score as we head into what will be possibly the last play before half time. Score 10-3 to Belvedere, 2 tries to the good. Suttonians open the scoring, of course, with that penalty. Lauren Farrell McCabe it was who picked up those 3 points for Suttonians. She's also the Suttonians' leading scorer, 5 tries to her name. Some discussion about where the line out is. Referee marks a halfway mark for the 2 props at the front. The call goes in. The referee gets himself out of the line out just in time. Ball dropped by the jumper. Knock on, and it'll be a scrum down Suttonians, but it will also be half-time. So half-time here at Ollie Campbell Park. Old Belvedere, 10, Suttonians 3. And we will take a short break and see you for the second half. Well, welcome back. Second half of this AIL round 12 game. Belvedere entertaining Suttonians. That first half score saw Belvedere cross the line twice for 2 tries after Suttonians had opened the scoring with a penalty from 40 yards from Lauren Farrell McCabe. Working off the team sheets given to me during the week, so I will apologise if any of these names are wrong. When in doubt, say nout. Great to see a number of you online watching this game live. The attraction of Leinster playing Stormers from Cape Town today in the Aviva. A few players of spectators maybe have nipped along to that, but certainly a couple of dozen of you stayed here at Ollie Campbell Park as Belvedere kick off and starts on the second half, playing from right to left, and they've gone deep to start with, and it's been dropped. Referee said it went backwards. But even so, it appears Belvedere have stolen that ball at the ruck and then very carelessly tossed it out and find themselves back on the 10-metre line as a result. One up and drive again. It was successful in the first half. Another loose pass is fly hacked through. Suttonians will come away with this ball. They try to employ the same tactics. Driving. Taking out defenders. Looking to just breach the advantage line. At the moment, the Belvedere defence is standing tall. Kick cross field, bounces on the halfway line and makes it to ground, and Suttonians have recovered that. Well, they'll be delighted at having got the ball back. It was unexpected. Ball bouncing the way a rugby ball does, and the referee, quite rightly, hands in the ruck. Well, that was fairly blatant, and it gives Suttonians a chance to push the ball down the touchline, deeper and deeper into the Belvedere half. Kick isn't going to find touch. A run across the defence and then a pass, loose pass out towards the wing. And finally, a boot is put to it, and it bounces and bounces into touch. Fortunate that for Belvedere. Just a lack of clinical execution. Ball going loose, passes just being thrown. I don't like to use the phrase willy-nilly, but that's what it appeared to be. Belvedere, as a result, well, Suttonian's hand must have got to the ball. Nice kick in behind, but it's well taken. Quiver Hoy collecting and driving back, and now having been tackled back into her own half. Again, the pick and drive, or pass and drive, preferred method of attack for both sides at the moment. Taken into contact. Belvedere doing exceptionally well there. Referee now having a word. Release the tackler. Calm down. Go wide. I don't know. I'm trying to interpret what the referee's saying from his hand gestures. And at the moment, Ring has been told to go back and have a word with the team. Cries from the sideline as Belvedere, once again, having received a penalty, have decided that they will take on the scrum. 4 minutes of this second half gone, no scorers yet. It's been a tight game. Belvedere only one converted try ahead. Again, solid scrum from Belvedere. And they come wide down the left-hand side. Switch back in. And Vanessa Holland making good ground. Quick ball coming. And Captain Ring again driving through. Nicely passed out of the tackle. Allows Belvedere to change the point of attack. Going back to the open side. Finally brought down. Another pick and drive. It's working each time for Belvedere. They are making yards. This time, 2 passes and then driving forward. And it is definitely the forwards that are carrying Belvedere at the moment, doing such good work, non-stop, looking for weaknesses in the Suttonians' defence around the ruck and maul. And they go again. 3 tacklers it takes, and the ball comes back nice and quickly. There should be room on the outside now at this stage, and through the gap. And the simplest of tries in the end. But again, another try scored by a back, but made by a forward. The driving forward by Belvedere. And eventually, the defence just ran out of bodies, having to defend the pillars so strongly. Again, the speed of this ball coming back. You can see the Suttonians defenders flooding back across. But in fact, in the end, overrunning the ball as they went through and picked up the 3rd try. Taking the score to 15-3 with this conversion. By far the easiest of the 3 so far. And that one splits the posts perfectly and takes the score up to 17-3. 46 minutes gone. Belvedere with 3 tries to the good. Just 1 try away from that bonus point. That having been said, Suttonians only 1 try ahead away from a losing bonus point at the moment. Physios slowly making their way off the park. We get ready now for Suttonians to restart. Finding themselves now 2 converted tries down. Another kick allowed to bounce between 2 players. Somebody had better claim it soon as the Suttonians players come flying through. Belvedere making that much more difficult for themselves than they need to. Again, it's the 1 pass and drive into the defence. Scrum half takes it herself, puts it down the park. Suttonians kicking through with the grubber. Quite effective at pinning Belvedere back, or so it would seem. Oh, O'Mahony doing a super job there because that was a loose pass and it could have gone horribly wrong, but as it is, it's enabled Belvedere to make 10-15 metres just from her efforts there. The ball stripped and the referee awarding the penalty. Injured player on the ground again. Physio straight on. Referee going over to see how good or bad it is. She leaps back to her feet. Suttonians looking to take the 3 points. After we saw the kick in the first half, this is certainly well within the range of Lauren Farrell-McCabe. She looks to extend her lead. As the bell tolls in the background, the kick goes up and goes wide. Belvedere looking to run it out. Kick down the park. Plenty of Suttonians' bodies there. The Belvedere chase coming up towards halfway. Scragged just over the halfway line. And then the long pass, causing problems amongst the Suttonians players. And the referee seeing a knock on. And Belvedere, well, from being behind their own line, defending a penalty, they now get to the stage whereby they're inside the Suttonians' half. And their pack of forwards, well, they've been superb so far today. Stars of the show. The plaudits will go to those who touched the ball down over the line, but the hard work of the forwards has to be acknowledged. Belvedere finding a very good game plan today. Belvedere scrum half orchestrating things between forwards and backs, and has done a super job. Scrum down to Belvedere then after a short injury break. Scrum being one of the main attacking weapons of Belvo in the first half. And even the change at hooker. Lisa Callan, I suspect it was, who went off. Vicar Manny came on. And it's good work from Suttonians holding up the Belvedere scrum on this occasion. As Holland gets ball at first receiver, drives into the Suttonians' defence. Ball comes back, and they go again. Again, breaking the advantage line. And Suttonians have ripped it. And it's a loud, loud blast from the referee. And it's a high tackle. Get those tackles down, says the ref. And that was great work by the Suttonians players, stripping that ball. And a super kick to finish it off means that Suttonians have the throw in halfway between the 10-metre and the 22. And a good opportunity again for Suttonians to put some pressure back on this Belvedere side. Ring set up to jump at the front again. Looking to put some pressure. Missed by both front jumpers. It goes through, taken by the Suttonians player. And again, adapting their play to the conditions. One pass and drive. But a super tackle there from Belvedere puts the pressure back on. The referee deciding an infringement. And again, Suttonians get the chance to move down the touchline and put some more pressure on the Belvedere defence. Suttonians setting up their lineup again. Again, Ring in that front jumping position, looking to disrupt as much as she can. Oh, that's a lovely worked play from Suttonians. The trick play at the front of the line out, it's got them 10, 15 metres and to within 5 metres of the Belvedere line. And they're driving and driving again. Forwards taking it on, and they do so again, hoping to tie in the defenders, but at the moment, the Belvedere defence looks tight. Driving up to close to the line. Ball comes back on the Suttonian side. They look to go again. Put to ground. Still 3 metres short. And the pass goes out wide. And the ball comes through, and it's... Well, the blast of the referee's whistle shows that the Belvedere player, in their eagerness, got their hand to it, pushed it forward. Suddenly that chance at relieving the pressure disappears, and it'll be a Suttonians put in. And this is where Suttonian scrum will need to remain steady. See a few hands on hips now. Players, well, it's sapping out there. Ground with that just surface covering of rain that we got earlier on. And you can see it's going to be a full laundry bill today for both teams. Now turning into quite a nice evening for a game of rugby. Once the rain and the wind stops. Well, that really is driving it back into the scrum. Going wide. Cutting through the gap. One player to beat. And the tackle is made. And that was a vital try-saving tackle for Belvedere. And now the ball is loose and it's on the Belvedere side. The referee saying, no, it went backwards. And this will give Belvedere a chance to just relieve some of this pressure. Again, it's the forwards driving on. Driving again. Scrum half now looking for the ball. And the big kick to touch relieves the pressure as far as Belvedere are concerned. Gets them 20 metres outside their own line. But Suttonians will have the put in again. And their line-out has worked very well today. Chilly evening today at Old Belvedere, Ollie Campbell Park. Club dinner here tonight. For those of you who have tickets, sure you'll experience one of those super nights that only Belvedere can provide. Good pass from the scrum half. Again, driving up through the forwards. It's proved successful for both teams. Looking to go again. Driving hard. First up driving, and the referee's whistle goes. And sealing off by the Suttonians players. Stay on your feet, says the ref. He went straight to ground over the ball and prevented Belvedere competing at all. So, penalty. Belvedere seemed to be caught between two ideas. Finally, the ball gets pumped down the field. And Suttonians, in not taking it cleanly, have given Belvedere another 10 metres. And Holland by herself dealing with the Suttonians back three. Although they do retain possession. They now find themselves back in their own half. And the tackle's coming in fast and furious. There is no room at all. Finally, the ball kicked downfield. Vanessa Holland takes it at the second attempt. And super run down the side. And finally, at the pace of Edwards, with just one to beat, and she's in. And she touches down, and there it is. Bonus point try for Belvedere. Mission accomplished. And Tilly making up such room, and then Edwards, well, you can't give her that much room. Just so much pace. Just stood up the full back and made it safely to the in-goal area. 5 more points for Belvedere. 22-3. Not really a reflection of how tight this game has been, but one has to say that Belvedere, well, when they get a chance, they put it away. Suttonians not having quite that clinical finish. Just waiting for the kicking tee to come out. The referee obviously deciding that the amount of time for the kick is running out. I think that was the warning. And she's going to have to be quite rapid about this now. Be no hanging around. Referee seems content to let her take the kick. And the kick is up. And the kick is over. 2 more points, 24-3 to Belvedere. We enter the final quarter of the game now. Belvedere, well, they have their 4 tries. They have their bonus point. Now they'll be looking to make sure that they get the 4 points for the victory as well. Belvedere, with a 5-point victory, will move on to 41 points. Still 3 behind Blackrock. And Blackrock, of course, playing today. They're playing Galwegians. Kickoff taken, but a lack of support. Scrappy but effective. Players driven off the ball. Another kick down. Another one that reaches the turf. And it's kicked back again, and a bit of tennis here. Another kick taken on the halfway line. Suttonians running it back, beating the first defender. The ankle tap from Ring, it was. It brought the player down, and then just the gentlest of pushes, forcing the Suttonians player into touch. And there'll be a Belvedere line out. As we see another injury. Injury on the Suttonian side this time. Cold weather really does make players susceptible to all sorts of injuries. Even commentators and their cold fingers. Note to oneself, pack gloves. But this has been an impressive Belvedere performance, a good team performance based on the strength of the pack today. (24-3), sir. O'Mahony with the throw-in. Not cleanly taken, but not pushed forward, and O'Mahony gets it back and drives at the Suttonian players. Goes to ground. The referee deciding that the clear out and the holding on was done by Belvedere. And Suttonians go quickly. Beats 2 or 3 players before going to ground. And there's an urgency about the Suttonian side now. Doing their best to really put Belvedere under pressure. But on this occasion, Belvedere are the ones doing the work and forcing the holding on by the Suttonians. Players injured all over the pitch now. So there are more physios on the pitch than there are referees. Last quarter of the game now. Suttonians currently 7th in the league. Bit of a gap between them and Galwegians above them. Next home fixture for Belvedere will be against Cook on the 8th of February. Put a note in your diary now. Another 5 o'clock kickoff. Haven't quite reached that stage of the year where brightness remains at that stage. Another game under floodlights, as this kick doesn't make touch. And the Suttonian scrum half driving up into the Belvedere half again. Defenders on both sides have done a good job of deciding when to go in and attack, and that's super play. The strength of the tackle, forcing the ball loose. Advantage to Belvedere for the knock-on. And that's what the ref is going to go back for now. Deciding that there's no advantage there. He'd have blown the whistle for some other offence at that maul. Scrum down, Belvedere ball. Still trapped in their own half. Suttonians have done well on the amount of territory and possession in this game. Unfortunately, as I say, they haven't had as much of a killer instinct as the Belvedere side. Given a chance, they've been in. This time, running through the gap, and just a tap tackle forcing Donnelly to ground. Coming round the outside. Forwards again, driving away. But on this occasion, it's Belvedere who hang on to the ball and allow Suttonians to keep the pressure on. Certainly one of the central players in the Suttonian side, scrum half. There's me Lickveld. I'm sure that pronunciation will have her ancestors turning in the grave. But she really has had a fine game for Suttonians. Certainly one to keep an eye on for the future. Again, pass out of the tackle. Allows Suttonians to make another couple of yards. And there she goes for the gap. Just an ankle tap, bringing her to ground. Ball presented beautifully. Bit of indecision as to which side to attack. Slow ball again. The Belvedere defence should be well set here at this stage. And that it is. Player with the ball, managing to get to ground. More slow ball for Suttonians. And that would be one of the differences between the two sides. Belvedere ball quicker, and when their forwards are driving, they're generally crossing the advantage line. Suttonians finding themselves tackled behind that advantage line, and that means they're always on the back foot with slower ball, giving the defence time to set up. O'Mahony, on this occasion, it is who steals the ball. Driving through the pillars again. And again, you see what I mean about making it over the advantage line. And again, but this time illegally. Referee deciding the second player going straight to ground, sealing off, not allowing any sort of competition for the ball. This time it looks like Suttonians will take the safety of the sideline. That's exactly what they do. Right onto the 22. Important placement there by the touch judge. In that if Belvedere do get this ball, and clear to touch, should they so desire. So the option there for them. Just a bit of lace tying going on behind the referee's back. Now he's happy enough. Nicely taken. Again, a good line-out move from Suttonians, and it's given them a chance to drive through the gaps, make a few more yards. Soft hands. And again, O'Mahony, immense in that position, doing some really good work. Oh, it's knocked on and knocked on again. The referee's going to pick up the first of those two knock-ons, and Suttonians will retain possession inside the Belvedere half, really looking to cross the line at least the once in this game. 21 points behind now. They did have that opportunity with the second penalty to double their score, but that one slipped to the left of the posts. And it has left Belvedere in quite a comfortable position as we enter into what should be the last 10 minutes or so. Once again, the clock on your screen doesn't match that of the referee. Time will slip past that 80-minute mark before the referee calls this one to an end. But 10-15 minutes to go now, and Suttonians really looking to close the gap on Belvedere. Another great scrum from Belvedere, and the referee blowing his whistle. He's asking that one to be reset. Belvedere front row just went straight through the Suttonians front row there. The referee doing exactly the right thing from a health and safety point of view. Couldn't let that one drive on any further, not while people were folded up like the way they were. Thought the way the prop folded up be similar to something that a magician's assistant would do. So Suttonians still with the scrum. The open side has been narrowed a bit. The referee bringing the scrum in towards the 15 metres, opening up the blind side, and they're going backwards very quickly, Suttonians, and the scrum half does all that she can just to drive, pick and drive herself, made a few yards, but it's been picked up again. The scavenging of the old Belvedere front five has been fabulous today. This time the kick finds turf. It takes a while. Oh, and the pass is loose. And Belvedere have recovered it. They go to ground and suddenly find themselves with the ball inside the Suttonians half. The defence at 6s and 7s at the moment as they make their way back. And that's well stripped by Suttonians and then knocked on, unfortunately. Well, good work from Suttonians to repel that attack from Belvedere, even if it is at the cost of a Belvedere scrum. Wholehearted effort out here by both teams on what has been, well, cool evening. Thankfully, the rain has stopped. That's the sort of injury that you expect to see at this time of year. Bit of cramp in the calf muscle, perhaps, or a tight hamstring. Celeste Rock, it is Rack who's out there. She'll be doing all she can to ensure that the Belvedere player can continue. At the moment, no look to the sidelines for a possible substitution. Emma Kelly it is, and that cramp has come back again, and she's going to have to go off. As soon as she straightened her leg again, everything went into spasm. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. One thing the physio does have to be careful of course, is not to pull all the tendons at the back of the foot. But at the moment, primary concern is that cramp, and there will have to be a change. Yes, there's the walk of somebody who's just had their muscles stretched out again to prevent the cramp. And they bring substitute on. Chloe Eriksson, according to my list. As I say, I was given my list a couple of days ago. There may have been changes to it. Hence my lack of player recognition today. Scrum from Belvo, played from scrum half to out half. Little grubber kick through, putting more and more pressure on Suttonians. And this is how Belvedere have found themselves 24-3 up, and it's just the constant application of pressure. No great flashes of brilliance, but just continuous tackling, driving. Forward pack have certainly been the stars for Belvedere today. Suttonians with a throw inside their own 22. Orla McDonald with the ball. You'll want to get this one right, that's for sure. And Ring on this occasion, jumping at the front, has finally picked one up. And it's Vic O'Mahony again, driving into the Suttonians' defence. Ball comes out. And again, just crossing that advantage line, and that's the difference. The Suttonians' defence sort of standing off and waiting for the Belvedere players to come on to them, whereas when Suttonians have the ball, Belvedere are flooding up through the gaps to make their tackles. This one played a bit wider. Backs again, getting interested. Forwards it is, doing the hard work, tying in defenders. Oh, and that's superbly ripped. And Suttonians will get a chance to clear their lines. Great defensive work, taking the ball out of Vic O'Mahony's hands. And this time, the Suttonians player does make it across the advantage line. And it's slow ball again. Running into double tackle, put to ground. And the kick to touch, well, it will be at the 22, and that's a bit of relief for Suttonians, but it has given the ball back to Belvedere. And surely, with only just 5 minutes or so left on the clock, they'll be looking to seal this victory with another try. They're certainly in the right half of the field now. Belvedere taking their time with the line-out calls. One wonders how much patience the referee will have. Enough seems to be the answer. Slap back by the Belvedere jumper. The referee deciding that the outcome from that is a scrum to Belvedere, and they won't be too upset with that. The Belvedere scrum has been absolutely rock solid today. Very early on, they established themselves against the Suttonians 8. A Suttonians 8 that has never given up and has fought all the way through to this, as it looks on the clock, the 79th minute. As I say, I think there's a couple of minutes to go. A couple of injuries during the second half, including that cramp we saw last time out for Emma Kelly. Pick up at the back and driving on, the tackle not completed. Again, driving and getting over the advantage line, but again stripped, and Suttonians come away with it. Again, slow ball for Suttonians. Scrum half can do nothing but look for the safety of the sideline. Finds it, gets Suttonians back up towards the halfway line, but again, is it that possession has been given away? Belvedere ball on the 10-metre line. Well, a fiercely competitive game. Both sides will have earned their post-match meal. Maybe even a beverage or two. And I don't know how many of the Belvedere women will be attending the dinner this evening. But one thing's for sure, they've certainly earned it today. Front of the line out. Back to O'Mahony. Scrum half. Managing to jink past a few. Get back to the line of the line out. And again, this method has worked for Belvedere today. One up, and a knock on. And the referee's whistle will go very quickly for that. We now have entered time added on, or time for injuries, I suppose we'd call it if it was football. Fergie time. Let's see if it makes any difference to this game. It's not going to make any difference to the result or to the points. Belvedere look like they're going to come away with 5 points. And Suttonians, well, they'll be pointless. But certainly plenty to encourage them going forward. Certainly the team spirit is there. Not taken one step backwards in this battle. In fact, the only step backwards that they have taken has been at the scrum, and on this occasion, going backwards has earned them a free kick. Belvedere too quick onto that, and this ball kicked along the ground. Allowed to bounce plenty of times. Suddenly the Belvedere back three looked dangerous. Back to the forwards, back to the driving. Now Donnelly looking to clear the lines and does so superbly. Bouncing it into touch just inside the Suttonians half, and that's enough to finish this game. And it's a fabulous win for Belvedere. Back to winning ways after their defeat last time out against Galwegians. 24-3. They have defeated Suttonians, today's visitors, and that is a super victory. Well, as I said, the next home game here will be versus Cook on February the 8th, and we hope you'll join us on that occasion. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much to our cameraman who has had the most hectic 4 or 5 hours of standing in the rain, in the cold, and to Belvedere themselves indeed. So many thanks from me, Craig Senior, and we'll talk to you again soon, perhaps on February the 8th. Until then,